Hey there, everyone. I thought I'd come back on and continue some of this saga having to do with royalties, plagiarism, copyrights, publishing, all of that happy stuff. And I thought I would use a specific example to show you just how funky this whole situation can get, even for the original artist. So, I'm sure many of you are familiar with John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival. He wrote all the songs, all the hits, that is. Very highly successful band. But when he signed to the label that they were on, Fantasy Records, they gave him a contract that was not particularly friendly. Let's just put it that way. And for a while, he had no right to veto how his songs were used. So they could just sell it to any advertisement, or for any use whatsoever. And he had no power to stop that from happening. But even worse, later on in his career, after Creedence, he had a hit called The Old Man Down the Road. And his ex-publisher, or the publisher of all the CCR songs, the ones that had the rights, sued him for plagiarism. They said, this song sounds too much like Run Through the Jungle, which was a CCR song. Yes, this really happened, and there were big numbers flying around in the lawsuit. So let me just go right ahead and pull up an article on this so I can kind of take you through it. It's quite a story. All right, so here we are. This is Inside Hook. Why it took John Fogerty 50 years to finally get the rights to his CCR songs. He's been fighting this whole time. This is from last January, 2023. So, yeah, after more than 50 years of legal battles and failed attempts to strike a deal, John Fogerty has finally regained the publishing rights to his CCR songs. Consider for a moment how many times you've heard Fortunate Son, or Proud Mary, or Bad Moon Rising in a movie, a TV show, perhaps a jeans commercial, any of those things. But he was never allowed to have a say in how those were used. Now, that's one thing. That's just kind of an annoyance. It's definitely not a happy thing, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, he's still getting paid, right? And Tina Turner, of course, did Proud Mary at one point, and he didn't get all of the monies that he would have with a better contract. So Fogerty's legal disputes actually were with Fantasy Records owner Saul Zaentz. Saul Zaentz, I'm going to guess is how he pronounces it, who signed the band in 1967 and locked them into a predatory deal that gave the label ownership of the distribution and publishing rights to all the music. A naive teenage Fogerty was still acting as the band's manager at the time they signed the deal. There's a lesson for all you young bands. Make sure that you've got a savvy manager who is taking a really good look at any contracts that you plan to sign. It's always really exciting if somebody wants to take an interest in your band and says they'll release your music and all that. The details matter. And by the way, never give up your publishing rights. If you possibly can, don't do it, because this is exactly what happens. So let's go on here. In 1980, things got worse in an attempt to extricate himself from the deal. I believe the artist royalties come down to what he actually got for recording the songs in the first place, because you get a certain amount for airplay on the radio or anywhere that it gets used. And it sounds like he lost those royalties as well for a while. Probably got talked into something by Zaentz, who then turned on him, would be my guess. I don't know if Zaentz is still alive. Maybe I should check that before talking too much about him, because he could be a very litigious guy. In 1985, growing frustrated with the ongoing legal battles with Zaentz, Fogerty released the song Vance Can't Dance, including lyrics about how he can't dance, but he'll steal your money. Fogerty was forced to change Zaentz to Vance in the song's title after Zaentz sued him for defamation of character. Zaentz also tried unsuccessfully to sue Fogerty for $142 million that year, claiming that his 1984 song, The Old Man Down the Road, lifted its melody from the 1970 CCR song, Run Through the Jungle, which Fogerty also wrote, but which Fantasy Records owned the copyright to. You see why this matters? So, yeah, it's one of those interesting situations where you're sued for plagiarizing your own work. In '89, he attempted to buy back the publishing rights, and the two agreed upon a price, but at the last minute, Zantz doubled his asking price. Yep, sounds like the kind of guy that would do that. I have, just based on what I've already learned about this guy earlier in the article, this comes as no surprise. And then Zantz finally died. So Concord purchased Fantasy Records and then made things right, partially at least, gave him back his artist royalties. But it was only recently that he was finally able to get back most of the rights. It's true, he doesn't have total control yet. Concord retains the CCR master recordings already in its catalog and will continue to administer Fogerty's share of the publishing catalog for an unspecified limited time. Now, Fogerty owns the rights to all his solo stuff, which is nice, but, I mean, all his hits were with Creedence. Although The Old Man Down the Road didn't do badly. I remember that. That was on center field. He says, it's not 100% win for me, but it's sure better than it was. So look at that. Oh, look at that. All right, let's see if we can hear what's going on here.
Well, this is a big day. One of the biggest in my whole life. In fact, I have waited my whole life for this day. The best part about this is I've got my wonderful family here with me. And we are celebrating because I am getting my songs back. Yes!
Go, John.
Right now.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay, so that's just one horror story in the music business having to do with publishing rights. There are many, many more. There's just endless. As a matter of fact, I could probably start a channel just talking about various copyright issues that have come up over the years. Most of our favorite singers from the 50s and early 60s got paid for one session, and that's it. They might have had a huge hit, and they got $30 that day to sing, and that was the end of that. Things got better after that. Led Zeppelin made tons of money on their contract, but they were pretty savvy when they signed it. So it matters. It matters a lot who has the publishing and what they want to do with it. So this does tie into recent issues on YouTube, because whenever there's a copyright strike, or even if something gets blocked, nearly always it's the publisher. And it's possible the artist doesn't even have any idea that it's going on, unless they're alerted to it later. But usually it's the publisher. And the publisher does it because, from their standpoint, they can only make money off of that original post that the band did, or wherever it was, the official post. They can earn off that. They can't earn off it if it's on somebody else's channel. Now, the flip side of that, that's very short-sighted, because the flip side of that is that if it's on other channels and getting spread around, how many people do you know decide they love a song and just listen to it the one time? Not very many, right? What happens is, I know about this song now. Let's go check it out over here. Let's see the official video that the band has. Let's buy the album maybe. So I know there's not as much of that, but, let's go stream it 100 times or whatever. Let's go out and do something that actually is going to earn the copyright holder money. That's usually what happens. There's a demand for the song. Maybe it gets more airplay on terrestrial or satellite radio. There's no such thing as bad publicity. That's an old Hollywood saying. The point being that if people know about you, that's good for you, because they're likely to explore and then purchase, or at least become a fan. And if they're not purchasing the music, maybe they're purchasing merchandise, maybe they're attending shows, buying tickets. There's just no telling. What's really happening is the reactors are making the bands more famous, and that's good for the band. And this is a situation that everybody can celebrate. Anyway, it is quite a web that you have to navigate I don't mean the World Wide Web. I mean the tangled web of the music business. Everybody with the finger in the pie and what that means and what kind of control they have over it and what kind of decisions they make regarding that. I mean, if you ask me, Rick Beato had it right years ago. It's silly to put copyright strikes out there, with the possible exception of if you're about to release something anyway and somebody puts it out ahead, because that's not right. I just thought I'd share that. If you have any thoughts on it or questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to share whatever I can. All right, and if you know of other situations like this, where an artist just got royally screwed just due to the workings of the music business, leave that below. Maybe I'll go take a look at it. It's kind of fun taking a look at things that have happened in the music business that maybe shouldn't have happened that way. Plenty of situations like that. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining me, and I will catch you soon, all right? Take care.